Hi everybody, my name is Jeff.
I'm Jeff.
How's everybody doing today?
Horrible.
Good, how are you?
How you supposed to be, Jeff?
This is my agenda. This is all the things I'll be doing throughout the presentation. So my icebreaker activity, I'm going to have my fellow classmates and my friends here act out a scene of what I'll be talking about. So you guys please get into your roles.
I never remember.
Things.
You know, we on 30-35 here. You know, Anthony, we on 30-35. What's up, man? On this phone, right? They get worse every day. That's the one thing.
Hey, get over here! 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 He's doing like right here. Take him to my class. I'm recording. Hey, can't let you ride. Anybody can ride now. I got it all on video, but no way I got to.
What about that? Please don't want to get arrested for it.
Nothing. Get in the car.
Stop crying.
Alright. Okay, so this icebreaker, this activity, it's all about how police, like people nowadays, like some of the cops, they treat people bad, and you see in the situation, Monty, the person who was getting arrested, wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just on his phone talking to his friends, and these two police officers came out of nowhere to arrest him because he's black. And that shouldn't be allowed. And we see a lot of that in the news nowadays. Like you see how policemen arrest with a lot of aggressive activity. And they're trained to do a specific, to arrest people in a specific way, not to hurt them or anything. My academic reflection. So I've been working to achieve my goal since freshman year, which is maintaining throughout the whole year 3.5 and higher. And even though I've been pretty kind of doing bad lately in school, I have to pick it up and start doing what I have to do, get my work done, and just pay attention to class. Alright, my weaknesses are, there are many things that I like to work on. Which is focusing, like I'm saying, focusing on my work in my classroom, paying attention to what I have to do throughout the class, and just getting my work done. And one of my strengths are to get back. I like to, once I see I'm falling behind in classes and stuff at work, I want to get back and try to do better than I was doing before. So the process of my LTI, the first day I went to my internship, it was I was nervous because I didn't know what to expect, and it was my first time. But the first couple of weeks, it was pretty interesting because we got to play with cameras a lot and see how things really happen and how people find out about things that you probably think they don't find out, but eventually they find out. And that being said, I was playing around with cameras, and you can see a whole bunch of bad stuff happening, people selling drugs and stuff, and all that just being, it was all being recorded, and people probably didn't know that the cameras were there. So that was pretty cool. So my passion, the reason I like this field of job is because I don't know, I just feel it runs in my blood because my grandfather, he had passed away a couple years back. He was a policeman, he was a sergeant, so it kind of runs in my blood. My uncles back in my dad's country, Venezuela, they're all policemen, they all have something to do with the law. So I think it runs in my blood. And I feel like it's a pretty cool job because you can help out the community and you can give back to the people that respect you and stuff like that. The problem with this, that people mostly have in the job is how policemen probably treat other people bad, don't show respect whatsoever. Let's say you're driving on the street, not breaking any laws or anything. They'll stop you just because you're going, just because they want, you feel like stopping you. And like, I feel like that shouldn't be like happening and stuff like that. And I don't know, there's just different things that policemen do that like, when I see in the news, like it gets me mad because that's like a career that I want to achieve. But at the same time, I don't, because it makes me think twice about what I want to do. Because there's so many like policemen out there that are like wanted for like because they treated people bad and stuff like that. Like, and I hear it in the news all the time. And it just sucks to see that like, something I want to do and achieve in my life is to become a policeman. And like, sometimes I have to think twice about it. The purpose I have for myself in my future is to be like a very clean and respectful cop. Like I want to become like a good cop. Like even though like you choose to become either a bad or a good cop, but some people decide to be bad and it causes consequences to other people. My learning goals are to be well trained as a police officer. I mean, it all depends how you get trained. I mean, all police officers get trained the same way, pretty much. You just choose what police officer you want to become, like either a good cop or a bad cop. Thank you. Woo!
Okay. Let's start with questions from the audience, Monty.
Jeff, I have a question for you, my dear. You said that all police training is the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's pretty not.
It kind of
Like, probably like,
Asking a question.
yeah, I'm asking a question. Like, why do you say all of it is like the same?
Because it's
like,
the same.
like we mean all the same in like every state, or like.
Wherever you go, you're gonna receive the same training because it's the same field.
So if I want to be a cop in LA, I'm gonna get the same training to be a cop in New York.
Yeah, because they're all trained to be the same thing.
Thank you. Awesome.
According to your family's background, they're all police officers, as you said, in Venezuela, and I guess here, right? Right, you said?
Yeah.
So I just want to know, are you following in this footsteps because they interest you a lot, or more because you want to follow your family's path?
No, both. Well, yeah, both. Because I also have my godmother's husband's brother. He's a Port Authority police officer. He's a Port Authority officer. So he always like when we hang out and stuff. I usually ask him because I'm very interested in what he does. So I usually ask him questions like, oh, like what do you see usually like day-to-day situations? And he tells me the things he sees. Like I don't know, like 2 months ago, I was talking to him and he told me that he ran into this girl trying to choke herself, and he was able to save that girl's life. And that's something that inspires me. Like I want to like save people's lives.
Okay.
Any more questions? Martha?
So like, I know like being a cop is like a long process. So like, do you ever have some nights or some days where you guys start thinking about like regrets? Like, do I really want to do this? Do I want to?
I do have regrets, as I was saying during my presentation. Like when you see things on the news, like a police officer shot somebody when he was getting arrested, he was on me to shoot him, and like stuff like that. Just like it touches me because it's something I want to do. But then once you see things like bad happening, like on the news and stuff, it just gets me thinking about if I really want to do it. Because there's people out there that don't hate cops, and like they'll shoot them if they have to, if they see them. So there's like stuff like day-to-day basis that cops go every day.
Thank you.
So we were talking about your passion, but what are the steps for you to get there, like educational wise?
Oh yeah, I have to go to college, I have to go do my 4 years, get a degree off of it, and then do training after.
Oh,
Just you talk a lot about good cops and bad cops. So why do you think there are bad cops? Just like out of
Because they
curiosity?
choose to be them.
They choose to be that
Yeah.
way. Okay.
Just do you had a question?
a multitude of questions. Just kidding. That should be a cop. It's not sort of a question, it's feedback. Is it time for feedback, Jefferson?
Yes.
Let's get a couple more
Alright,
questions.
so
I think
question-
Derek has a
I
question.
still got a question though.
Okay, go ahead.
Why do you think cops choose to do it?
Wait,
What do you-
Justino has.
Listen to you a
I
little.
don't know. How long have you wanted to be a cop? Is this like was this like since you started getting into it? I'm talking about since you were like younger, or is this like more?
Yeah, since I was young. Because I always watch like detective things, like CSI Miami. That's like one of my favorite shows. And then Hawaii 5-0. That's another one that I really like to watch.
Okay.
Jared, you got a question?
Why do you think it's always just cops want to do it and not much of cops are coerced or cops are blackmailed into doing it?
Well, if you're blackmailing to do it, then I mean, you still have a choice, but it also depends on how bad the blackmailing is. Like if they like threaten your family, then that's just another story. But like I was saying, if you choose in order, like if you want to be a good cop and just do things how it's supposed to be done and follow like the steps that's supposed to be done, and a bad cop, like why is there a need like a couple? I forgot when it was. Well, a man died from getting arrested because they were on top of him and stuff, and he was telling the cops that he couldn't breathe. So what's the whole point of like putting the man on the floor and he's yelling at you that he couldn't breathe? What's so hard about picking him up and putting him against the wall instead of just being on top of him and stuff and arresting him? Monty, you had a question?
Yeah. Where would you like to take your talents as a police officer
Well, anywhere that I can find a spot.
to? Don't go to LA. Twice. Don't go to LA.
Anybody else have a question?
All right, how about feedback? So good things that you saw and things that you can give advice for Jeff to improve. Chris?
His whole presentation was good. Just that you were up there, you kind of seemed like, why am I here?
I was actually nervous. Like when John was finishing his presentation, I was already shaking on the chair. Yeah.
Nah, I know, he's up.
Like I logged out of the computer by mistake.
Jefferson. I have a question.
was really nervous actually.
Okay. Well, I thought you were gonna let one of my classmates go. Kind of like your personal one.
Anthony, you wanna go?
I want to extend your. I want to say that was a great presentation, but more often than not, when you have, like I said before, and like the rest of today, a lot of kids who presented, they didn't show as much. They talked about their passion. You could hear in their voice they really didn't have a passion for it. So I mean, it seems like on there you have a lot of passion for being a cop, especially what you said about them, just arresting innocent people, not only black people. That's really good. But other than that, when you tap into like sort of it being a race issue, which why cops are doing that, then I'm not gonna say for you to be like activists or you to get into like parties of such for black people, but I'm saying perhaps on future references that whenever it comes to a project like this, you wanna more talk about like you just want to see more about your passion for it. You told me you said you were a kid when you wanted to be a cop when you start looking into that stuff. Talk more about that. Let us feel your drive for your passion. Let us know it was pretty decent. Like I can help you next time if you want.
Thank you, Anthony.
Okay, I wanted to start off saying you went in depth with detail and examples, and I really like that, how you explained yourself. But just the thing that you could have done better was just talk to like all of us more instead of looking at the board a lot, and you were nervous, and it's normal. Just more eye contact, and then your posture just moved right, because I felt like, I saw you like kind of like wobble, it's like firm.
The only negative I have is it's a little bit short.
Yeah,
That's
I was
what-
missing a few things.
But otherwise, I think that you were very, very clear in your reasoning, and I think I really appreciated that, because a lot of the things I've seen so far, they weren't really clear. Like I wanted to know why, but you were very clear on that, and I appreciate that you recognize good cops and bad cops. I really love that.
Yes.
And my biggest positive for you is that I love your honesty. Just like when you mentioned that you think twice about it, and you're not sure, but you want to do it, you want to help people. Just like your honesty, I think that really drove the presentation. So I appreciate that a lot. You did a good job.
Okay, I'll say so. I like seeing you get up there and present. I know you were a little bit nervous, but I think that you commanded it and got it under control so that you were able to, go through the
I feel like I
presentation.
was repeating myself a little bit too much.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, that's why.
You look great. You have professional tires is really good. And your slides were organized as far as following the agenda. Just some of the feedback that I would give. Your icebreaker was really good. But I think that it could have been used to kind of like you could have used it more effectively in talking about the problem, right? Which is, basically, it looks like your issue is police brutality, right? So I think that in general, the presentation just lacked the background of that problem, like, and I think just, really hit it on the head, like the passion, like we could kind of see it, but then it was a little bit muted, which could have been because you were nervous, but I also think that you need to put a little bit more research and a little bit more time into preparing your I guess your work in terms of what it is that you're going to be discussing. And that also goes with the project slide. So that's where I really felt like a lot of the background was missing. Like you talked about what the problem was, but then you didn't really talk about how your project is meant to kind of address it. So what is it that you want to do in terms of this school year? What is the project that you're going to be working on? And how is it going to kind of serve the problem? Like I heard you talk a lot about becoming a police officer, but I didn't really hear much about a project or how like an internship could help you with that, right? Since you're working on getting a new internship. So I feel like this could have been a good time to talk about what it is that you're looking for to get out of this whole LTI process, right? What is it that you want, right? So you were interested in this field and you're interested in this particular problem that's associated with this field. So I think that I just want to see you get a little bit deeper into finding out what it is that you specifically want to do about it. Rather than just say, oh, I want to be a cop and I don't want the cops to do this, some of them. You know what I mean? As far as the slides themselves, just be careful, like for one thing, like don't write paragraphs on the slides, try to break it down into bullets, because that'll help reduce you reading off of the slide, but also like slides are just background, right? They're just to kind of help the ebb and the flow of your presentation. They're not for all the content. And when you do have stuff up on the slides, look out for the mechanics, like the capitalization, the punctuation. There's some of those kind of little issues. And just anything that can really enhance your presentation. I felt like this would have been a good time for this particular issue, since it's so current right now in our society. It's constantly coming up. I feel like you could have brought in, current event, news, video. You could have really capitalized on this particular issue because it's so heated right now. So just to think about it, like you have a really good place to start. It's just how you're going to get deeper into it. But for a first exhibition, I think that you should be proud of yourself for, getting together what you did get together and for being able to present and to be able to reflect honestly on what you've done. And just take all of the feedback that you've gotten and just think about how you're going to enhance the final exhibition. Okay? All right.
Good job.
I understand it's your first time at all, but, proud of you. You just could have prepared it more, but I'll take what you can get.
Okay, bless you. All right, thank you, Jeff.